I've been hearing a lot recently about people that are narcissists. Somebody aunt is a narcissist, or the boss or uncle or friend. So I decided, let me go and do some research and find out what exactly is a narcissist. And what I discovered is that narcissism runs on a spectrum from healthy to very unhealthy and toxic. So in this video, I would share with you the traits, characteristics, and behaviors of people who are narcissistic, with the hope that you would be able to successfully interact with these people on a daily basis. And I am Carla with Vibes and Wisdom, and I help people solve their daily problems by introducing wise and practical solutions. At the end of this video, I would like for you to have a better understanding and to be empathetic towards people who are narcissistic. So let's look at the definition of what is narcissism. And it's a constant crave by people who are narcissistic to have attention and admiration by others. They most times feel that they are more important than everybody else, and they struggle a lot with empathy. So there's a psychiatrist by the name of Donald Winnicott, and he talks about the true self and the false self, and he attributed narcissistic qualities in adults to the wounded true self in the child. And what he said, as a child, these people had to suppress their emotions and their feelings, and they could not exhibit their true sense of self. That was stifled and neglected. So I'll give you an example. You know, sometimes in growing up, your parents might embarrass you in front of the family and so forth. They may tell you, go take a shower, comb your hair, look at how you're looking. And of course you feel very embarrassed. But could you answer your parent and say, you know, Mom, I don't like you speaking to me like that. I don't appreciate how that makes me feel. Well, I don't know for you, but I know for me, with Caribbean parents, even African parents, that's not something that you're going to say. You could feel it, but you would not say it. And that's what he's talking about, the true self being suppressed. So what you do, you go take the shower, you pretend that everything is okay, that you're not embarrassed, and that's where you default to the false self. You are now pretending, you are living under that false sense. But remember, the true self is still there. And as those narcissistic children grow into adulthood, they still have that sense of wanting the admiration and the attention and not to be neglected. So they want that true self to be fed. And that's where the concept of narcissism came about. I will share with you 5 manipulative strategies that narcissistic people use to monopolize attention. So let's look at number 1, social gatherings, and sometimes they're extroverts. They understand the art of mastering attention. In social gatherings, they feel alive, they feel value, they know how to redirect the attention to themselves, because remember, that wounded inner self still has to be fed and feel good. So let's go to number 2. They frequently interrupt conversation, redirecting the conversation to themselves, because they have to make sure that and feed that fragile ego. All right? So when the spotlight is on them, they feel great. So they will do almost every and anything just to make sure that the attention stays on them. You would see sometimes with narcissistic people, if you're talking about them, you're giving them compliments, you're telling them how great they look, how good things that they do, oh, they light up. But if you now start talking about you, oh, no, 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 no. You see the gays just start leaving you and they're looking around the room. They're ready to go somewhere else and talk to somebody who would feed in to their self-absorption. All right? The other thing is they sometimes dramatize and exaggerate things. They create these stories. Even they go as far as lying, again, to make something sound different, to keep you engaged and connected with them. And that make them feel, oh, really good. At least she heard what I had to say. And they would continue to just pour out so that you could feed them with the connection and the recognition and all of that. And then, so that's 1, 2, 3. I think I probably reached the number 4 by now. So the number 5 one would be where they all, whatever they accomplish is always better than what you accomplish. So let me give you an example. You probably ran track when you were much younger, and you probably start talking about, I had some gold medals. Oh, no, no, no. They would let you know they ran track, they played tennis, they played softball, they did everything, and they got all of the gold medals. Why? They have to show you that they are more important than you. They have to come back to the spotlight to show how great they are. All right? So that's that for manipulating attention. Let's go on to some of the defensive mechanisms that they use to protect their ego. Gaslighting. They gaslight very good. They are experts at gaslighting. That's one. Actually, there are 5 of them. Number 2, they shift blame automatically. They know how to deflect and throw it back on you. You may say, when you go out, close the door. I realize that you're not closing the door or you're not locking it, and X, Y, and Z. They would say, but you too, you don't close the door either. You left the window open, you left the fridge door open, you left the door open twice last week. So now it's all on you. And they do it so easy and so clever that they have you wondering, wow, what did I do or say? They're very hypersensitive to criticism. If you tell them something for their own good, some constructive feedback, they get very enraged because it's like, how dare you attack my ego? You're criticizing me. Remember, these people are very vulnerable because they have that wounded inner child. All right? So by any means necessary, they will protect it. So criticism, they do not handle that very well. Compliments, yes. Criticisms, no. They also, so that, let's see, we talk about gaslight, hypersensitivity to criticism, belittling others. So they're very good at what is called leveling. In psychology, leveling means you will belittle someone else and put them down so that you will feel better about yourself. So with that being said, I'll ask you, do you think that people with toxic, narcissistic qualities will have good relationships? And I would say, based on the research, they show that narcissistic people have a lot of failed relationships. They have emotional damage that they do to others that are in their inner circle, and most times they end up alone. If you know anybody that is narcissistic, in my next video, part 2, because this was part 1, we will talk about strategies to effectively cope with people that are narcissistic. And I am sure, based on what I shared, there are many people that you could identify with these narcissistic qualities. So the next step is, they're around us, all right? So how do we cope with them? And that's what I would share with you in part 2. So thank you very much for looking at my podcast. If you like what you heard, go ahead, share, comment, and subscribe.